this is the prayer you need to hear. It is no coincidence that this video has crossed your timeline right now. In the architecture of the invisible, nothing is random. You have reached the turning point, the 7th frequency. This is the final warning before the scales of your destiny tip toward absolute liberation or total stagnation. I have searched for you in the silence of your nights and in the noise of your days. I speak from a frequency of authority, but also from the weight of an urgency you can no longer ignore. There is something, a shadow moving with surgical stealth toward your most intimate circle. It is circling your home, watching your children, measuring your inner peace in order to drain it. We are not speaking of a simple stroke of bad luck. We are facing an ancient architecture of opposition, a force that has been operating in the shadows of your routine. If you choose to scroll past, you will be sealing the door at the exact moment help has reached your threshold. I need your total focus. If your spirit is awake, you will feel this fire. If you feel this truth burning inside you, activate the signal, leave your mark, subscribe, and allow this message to become a protective frequency. Do not let darkness touch your loved ones for lack of vigilance. You were chosen as a living receiver in a time when most walk asleep. Tell me, you have felt it, haven't you? These past days when the air feels heavier, that exhaustion that does not disappear with sleep. Your body knows what your mind has not yet processed. The wind has changed. It was not the algorithm that brought you here. It is a synchronicity that has broken the laws of chance. What you are about to process is not just another piece of information. It is the 7th word, the final frequency emitted before the clock of your reality marks the moment of the fall, or total liberation. I have searched for you across 7 different dimensions of time. And today I manifest before you clothed in an authority not of this world, carrying a compassion that aches and an urgency that allows no delay. Listen carefully, there is an anomaly, a thread moving with millimetric stealth toward the epicenter of your existence. It moves through the corners of your home, watches over your children's sleep, stalks your well-being, and seeks to fracture the inner peace you fought so hard to build. We are not talking about a simple bump in the road. This is something deeper, an ancient conspiracy, an architecture of shadows that has been forming in the absolute silence of your distractions. If at this very second you choose to ignore this message, if you allow distraction to win, it will be like locking the door twice just as the rescue team knocks on your wood. I need your spirit to remain unshaken. Truths revealed only to those brave enough to hold their gaze upon the mystery. If you feel this fire igniting in your chest, if your intuition tells you this is for you, then seal this pact, press the heart, leave your support with a like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments what you are perceiving. The more you respond to this call, the more this word expands, transforming into a shock frequency, a sword of light in the hands of my angels that will cut the threads of what tried to trap you. Share this echo. Let the warning ride before the danger. You have been selected as a living receiver, a divine response antenna in an era where most walk with their souls anesthetized. I need you whole, strengthened, and above all, present. Because what I am about to reveal will change the way you see the air you breathe. Tell me, have you noticed it? Look back. Past days have not been ordinary. They have not been casual. Your body has been registering a weight that cannot be explained by work fatigue. It is like an invisible shadow cast over your shoulders, a strange force trying to drain your vital energy from the core, extinguishing you little by little without you realizing it. No, do not try to rationalize it as simple exhaustion. What you have experienced in recent weeks does not belong to the catalog of the ordinary. If If you pause to observe with an awakened soul, you will notice that the wind of the spirit has drastically changed direction. There are silences that have ceased to be empty and have become dense, repetitive, loaded with information your physical senses still cannot decode. Your environment has shifted. Those around you have begun emitting different frequencies, erratic behaviors, double-edged words, glances that seem to search for something even they do not understand. The atmosphere itself has exerted a gravitational pressure upon you, as if an intelligent presence were crouched within the folds of time, waiting for the exact millisecond to manifest. No, this is not a projection of your mind. It is not the echo of your insecurities. This is pure spiritual architecture. While you focused all your emotional artillery on protecting your loved ones, on maintaining the structure of your home and saving the little piece you had left, in hidden dimensions a net was being woven, a conspiracy designed with mathematical precision to strike the one place where you have no defenses. Your family. The objective was not only to tire you, the objective was to fracture your core, weaken the foundations of what you love so the structure would collapse from within. But listen carefully to what comes next, because this is where reality divides. At this precise moment, as the sound of my voice penetrates your consciousness, that master plan of the shadows begins to disintegrate. The adversary's clock has struck midnight. Its time of anonymity has ended. By hearing this word, you are activating a safeguarding protocol you did not even know you possessed. Right now, you are being covered under an armored frequency of protection, escorted by forces human logic calls archangels, but the physics of the spirit recognizes as guardians of matter. What was destined to be a tragedy has been intercepted. The impact meant to reach you this month was restrained by a hand you do not see, but feeling the chill running down your spine. You were surrounded 7 times with an impenetrable security perimeter, a sacred circle no low frequency managed to pierce, though they tried with fierce insistence. Understand this, your constant unease, that sensation that something is coming was your early warning system. You are like the one who smells ozone before lightning strikes, or the one who hears footsteps on the carpet before the door opens. What had been planned against you was no minor setback. It was a trap with exact coordinates, your name written at the edge of the abyss and a date marked on a calendar that is not yours. But I myself stopped the flow of time. I manipulated the circumstances to find you in this message, to speak to you precisely in this second of vulnerability and openness. Because at the exact moment these words touch your ears, spiritual realities are compelled to bow before the authority I carry, a spirit of weakness, a silent illness without name or diagnosis, attempted to leap over the walls of your biology. It sought to install itself in your system, drain your ability to remember, extinguish your enthusiasm, and turn your inner fire into cold ashes. But they did not account for one thing, your faith. A faith that, even if you see it as small or wavering, was powerful enough to act as a switch for massive liberation. Rise. Breathe differently in this second, because the air entering your lungs right now no longer carries the burden of the past. Something has been surgically cut away in planes your eyes cannot see. Your existence is not, nor will it ever be, a territory subject to the sentences of darkness. Have you ever stopped to think about the power of what you do not say? You cannot imagine how many times your heaviest sighs, those you released toward the ceiling of your room, when you believed no one was listening, acted as emergency detonators. There were tragedies with your name written on the projectile, events millimeters away from manifesting in your physical reality, that were diverted by a spontaneous whisper. those times when, in the midst of extreme exhaustion, you spoke a sacred name without even thinking. Those words did not fall to the ground. They rose like command codes that legions of guardians obeyed instantly. I have tracked every one of your genuine gestures of faith. I have seen the tears you shed in the anonymity of your pillow, the ones no one else validated. I have witnessed each time you interceded for someone who never thanked you, even for those who, in their ignorance, tried to harm you. When you presented before absolute silence the names of those who hurt you, asking that they to find healing, that act of pure love was received as the highest frequency in the universe. None of it has gone unnoticed in the great record of existence. While you were busy holding others up, being the pillar for those who faltered, other hearts intoxicated by their own shadow began filling with an envy they themselves could not explain. Words charged with corrosive intention were spoken over you. Decrees were cast into the wind, seeking to alter the electromagnetic field of your home, attempting to destabilize the architecture of your mind so you would doubt your own worth. They wanted you to feel small, to believe your effort was in vain and that your destiny was sealed by failure. But there is a higher law they do not understand. Light cannot be judged by darkness. At this precise moment, as your attention remains firm on this message, all those negative projections are returning to their origin not as punishment, but as a lesson in balance. The weight you felt at the back of your neck, that knot in your stomach without medical explanation, is nothing more than the echo of those external wills trying to anchor themselves in you. But today, the seventh word declares your immunity. Your vigilance has been the key. Your persistence in not giving up, even when the landscape was gray, has kept the door closed to evil. You are entering a phase where what was woven in secrecy is exposed to the light of noon. You will no longer walk blindly, because your spiritual eyes are being recalibrated to see the trap before it closes. Listen with the ears of the Spirit, because what I am about to reveal is born of a love that breaks the laws of physics and the limits of linear time. A sophisticated plot was dismantled in the last hours, but your vigilance remains the master key that keeps sealed the entrance to any low vibration frequency. You have felt that constant unease, haven't you? That electric sensation in the pit of your stomach you could not translate into words. Everything seemed normal on the outside, yet in your core you knew the air was charged, like the silence that precedes a storm. What had been projected against you was not a simple streak of bad luck. It was a trap designed with architectural precision. It had your name, it knew your address. It stalked a specific date on your personal calendar, but they made a miscalculation. They did not count on my direct intervention. I myself altered the timelines to meet you in this message, to intercept your attention in this exact microsecond when your mental defenses are lowered and your spirit is receptive, because in the instant these words enter your auditory field, reality itself reconfigures under my authority. A vector of silent illness attempted to cross the perimeters of your biology. That chronic fatigue that showed no symptoms. A weakness beginning to install itself in your memory and enthusiasm. Operating like an invisible parasite trying to siphon your inner fire. They were attempting to turn your light into a distant echo. But your faith, that small spark you kept alive during the darkest nights, was the necessary code to activate the protocol of massive liberation. That is why I command you now, rise. Feel how the flow of energy along your spine shifts its polarity. Something has been detached from your aura in this invisible plane. Your existence is no longer under the dominion of condemnations or the whispers of shadows. You cannot comprehend how many times your solitary sighs, your voiceless prayers, your your selfless acts of kindness have functioned as kinetic shields against tragedies that were about to collide with your reality. Every time you helped another while you yourself felt broken, you sent a signal the guardians of divine order did not ignore. While you were wearing yourself thin, protecting the peace of others, and the corners of any decrees were being forged to destabilize you. But today, that weight you felt in your chest dissolves. The energy that was stolen from you is being reclaimed and returned to its origin, your heart. Listen to the silence that remains after the storm, because in that void is where I have just written your new name. What was designed to destroy you ended up perfecting you. The plot woven in the shadows has not only been dismantled, it has been transmuted into the raw material of your greatest victory. Do you perceive it? That burden you carried on your shoulders, that knot that kept you from breathing fully, has just evaporated before the frequency of this seventh word. Today, spiritual realities have aligned in your favor. That spirit of illness that attempted to besiege your body has received an order of absolute retreat. That weakness draining your memory and enthusiasm has been replaced by renewed fire. Fuel that does not run dry because it does not originate from this world. You have been rescued from a trap you never even saw, yet your soul sensed in every anxious heartbeat. I myself stopped the adversary's clock so you could arrive at this moment of revelation. Your existence is not an accident, nor are you at the mercy of the winds of others' envy. You are a node of light, a turning point in the story of your lineage. While others were lost in the noise, you kept the ear of your spirit attentive. Therefore, what has been cut today in the invisible will never be joined again. The door I have closed against evil today, no person and no force will reopen it. From this second on, walk with your head held high. Feel how the atmosphere in your home has changed. The air is lighter, the light is clearer, and the peace you sought now emanates from within you. Your vigilance has borne fruit. Your faith that sigh you released to heaven in your darkest moment has been your greatest weapon of war. This message is not the end. It is the seal of a new beginning. The danger has passed you by, and darkness has retreated before the presence of the guardians now watching over your path. You are whole. You are strengthened. You are complete. What has been spoken is born of a love without limits. You are free. You are light. And now, the world is about to witness the radiance of what happens when someone dares to listen within. Awaken soul. Today, under the sovereign design of the Most High, a decree is issued that cleanses the atmosphere of your home. As scripture says, the wind blows wherever it pleases and you hear its sound, John 3:8. In this very instant, a mighty and powerful wind moves through every room of your house, sweeping away the densities of anguish in every thought that does not align with the admirable light, and restoring what was stolen in the darkness of silence. I now break the yokes that were woven in secrecy and grant you the discernment of a sentinel. The time of confusion is over. What once manipulated you through fear or guilt now stands exposed beneath the lamp of truth. I have removed the veil from your spiritual eyes. Now you will see with the clarity of one who dwells in the heights. You have been under scrutiny. Eyes unfamiliar with prayer have analyzed your steps, waiting for your fall. But behold, your Redeemer lives. I have kept you not because of your human merits, but because your name is engraved on the palms of my hand. Those conversations you hold with me in the secrecy of your room, those sighs no one hears, are the rock of your covenant. As in Matthew 6:6, your Father who sees in secret now rewards you openly. You're not alone. You never were. Even when you walked through the valley of shadows, my rod and my staff gave you courage. Balance has returned. Stand firm, for the victory is not being negotiated. It was already decided in heaven's court in your favor. The filter of divine wisdom adhere this warning of prudence. Be cautious of paths that seem smooth, yet lead to the abyss. There is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death. Proverbs 14:12. Something that shone like gold appeared before you as a unique opportunity, yet it concealed chains that would have bound your feet for years. That is why I called you 7 times. It was vital to find you here, attentive, before your mouth spoke a yes that would have stolen your peace. Have you seen people drift away without reason? Bonds you believed eternal, fading like smoke. Do not weep for what leaves. It is the pruning of the vine dresser. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit he takes away. John 15:2. It is not abandonment, it is preservation. I am making space for the latter glory, which shall be greater than the former. I have removed attachments that contaminated your purpose. If someone exits your life today, give thanks. It is liberation disguised as loss. Your body has been the messenger of this battle. Those nights of vigilance, that sudden awakening at 3 in the morning, were not insomnia. It was your spirit groaning in intercession. The enemy launched arrows of envy to extinguish your fire, but my sacrifice is your shield. In the name that is above every name, I command your memory to be restored. You will remember the promises I gave you that exhaustion tried to erase. And here is a sign. One of yours, someone for whom you have shed tears in silence, is receiving a miracle in this very second. You will see the change in their eyes and their words. An ailment advancing in secrecy has been rebuked. Medicine will do its part, but my breath has touched the root. Prepare yourself, because those who doubted you will marvel when they see that it was not luck, but the mighty hand of God that sustained you. Be wise, distrust the counsel of those with flattering lips, but hearts distant from my spirit. If you feel this fire, if you recognize my voice, leave your testimony. Write the name of the one who needs this covering, share this light, and seal your subscription to this channel of revelation. What comes in the next minute is not human instruction. It is the final design that will transform your story forever. Trust. What I removed from your path was the hindrance. What I bring is the blessing that adds no sorrow, that unbreakable resilience dwelling in your core. Do not try to explain it through human logic. According to the laws of the world, you should have fallen. According to the weight of your battles, you should have surrendered long ago. Yet here you stand upright. That impulse that forced you to take one more step when your strength was saying enough did not arise from your biological will. It was my breath, as the promise in Philippians 1-6 says. He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion. I planted within you a seed of eternity, a particle of my own nature that is immune to chaos, exhaustion, and the confusion of this age. And today, I breathe over you a new Ruah spirit, not merely so you may walk, but so you may advance as a conqueror clothed in a wisdom the world cannot comprehend. What is about to manifest on your horizon will not be a small event or a subtle coincidence. It will be visible glory, a clear answer that will leave your adversary speechless. But before releasing that promise into your external reality, I must descend into your basements. I need to heal those silent wounds that still bleed in the hidden places. Marks upon your soul, scars you have tried to cover with work and distractions. Yet in the invisible realm they still pulse with pain. The enemy knows those fissures and has tried to use them as entry points to halt your flight. That is why today I enter the corners you yourself have not dared to face. Like a surgeon of light, I uproot every trace of bitterness and trauma. I declare that every wound you once used as a defensive shield is now transformed into a testimony of power. I do not want you merely surviving. I want you reigning. I called you to fullness, not to beg for crumbs of peace at the edge of collapse. The awakening of true identity observe carefully, for the spiritual ecosystem around you is undergoing a massive reordering. I am shifting structures of power, dissolving dark alliances, and removing people who were anchors upon your destiny. What you call loss, I call sacred space. Your inner vision is being recalibrated. From this second on, your spirit will instinctively reject empty relationships and affections that only seek to feed on your light without giving anything in return. Do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers, 2 Corinthians 6:14. I'm awakening within you such a profound identity that you will no longer allow bonds to disguise themselves as love, where you once yielded out of fear of loneliness. Now you will stand firm like Mount Zion. With supernatural peace you will understand that whoever leaves your life in this season never had roots in your eternal purpose. I am carrying out a sanctuary cleansing within your inner circle. Soon the fruits will be evident, pure connections, unbreakable loyalties, and a peace that surpasses all understanding. Your home will cease to be a battlefield and become a center of revelation. Where there was oppression, there will now be a frequency so elevated that falsehood cannot remain in your presence. Your daily routine will be filled with signs, with burning bushes reminding you that the ground you walk upon is finally holy ground. I will awaken you with instructions that do not originate from logic, but from the whisper of the Spirit. You will feel pressures that are not of the flesh, but calls from your eternal design. You will no longer call coincidence what is, in truth, strategic battle. And when conflict emerges, do not fear. Every attack revealed is the sign that heaven has already launched its devastating counteroffensive. You do not walk alone. My heavenly army has taken tactical positions around your life. The heavens are in motion in ways the earth will soon feel, and your family will be shielded under a covering of fire and anointing no dark force can penetrate. When they ask how you withstood the impact that destroyed others, you will have no human explanation. You will simply say, "It was not my strength. It was the high command who sustained my bones when my body wanted to surrender." Zechariah 4:2-6. The breaking of the ancestral cycle. Listen carefully. A cycle of millennia has come to an end. A season of wilderness has been permanently closed. Before you open portals once sealed for generations, blocked by spiritual knots and human errors that today, because of your faithfulness, are undone by my hand. Inhale deeply. Feel as I remove from your shoulders that weight which never belonged to you, that inherited burden, that pain passed from parents to children like a cursed inheritance. Stops here. You are the turning point. In you, the story of failure dies and a lineage of overcoming is born. I set you apart to interrupt the patterns of the past and to become the living memory of God's transforming power. As written in Isaiah 43:13. Indeed, before the day was, I am He, and there is no one who can deliver out of my hand. I work, and who can hinder it? If I act in your favor, what wall can stand? From promise to manifestation, this is not a moment for passive comfort. It is a time of radical empowerment. Stop believing my promises are too large for your small reality. And the God who reverses death sentences, changes terminal diagnoses, and accelerates in days what takes humans decades to build. Prepare for the historic. An unexpected connection will alter your course. Your name will be spoken in rooms of honor where you have not even knocked. When my favor manifests, the logic of the world collapses. Stop trying to control the wind. The wind already obeys my voice. The time of manipulation and doubt is over. I have prepared a table before you in the sight of those who expected your fall not to feed your ego, but that my name may be glorified in your steadfastness. Your victory will transcend your own life and reach those around you, igniting faith in hearts once frozen by cynicism. You have overcome. You have endured. You have believed. Now enter your season of harvest. Not if you feel this fire burning the chains from your chest. Do not remain silent. Press the heart right in the comments. I believe in the divine plan, and share this frequency of liberation. Subscribe now, for this is only the beginning of the instructions heaven holds for your new life. The next minute is not merely time. It is the first breath of your freedom. Not do you feel you have reached a turning point in your life. It is no coincidence that this message found you. Today a profound truth is revealed about your ancestral heritage and the sacred purpose you carry. If diagnoses and the news of the world have tried to undermine your faith, this word of victory based on Isaiah 43:13 is the answer your spirit was awaiting. In this message, the interruption of cycles of pain and the opening of portals of blessing sealed for generations are explored. It is not only a prayer, it is a spiritual roadmap for those ready to see the invisible manifested in the visible. Write in the comments, I believe in the divine plan to activate this word in your home. If this prayer spoke to your soul, if it touched a wound, if it opened a path, if it caused you to kneel or to lift your hands, we want to lift your life in prayer, your family, your processes, your valleys, and your tables.